Good morning and welcome to a very, very special episode of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. This is my 100th episode. I have been doing this 100 days in a row, and wouldn't you know it, that this very day, my sign arrived from Mexico City, Mexico. Thank you to the very lovely, very amazing Alejandra Sanchez, my dear, dear friend who made all of this happen. She helped design the logo, which if you've watched previous episodes, by the way, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, you'll have to watch it on YouTube to see the sign. But helped me design this logo, which I have just been when I do the videos on YouTube, I've just been putting the image file on my YouTube videos. But this was always the plan, was to turn into this neon sign. And oh my gosh, do I love it. I just got it today, though, and I don't really see a way to hang this on the wall. There's no holes up here. There's no brackets. So I did go to Lowe's and I bought a couple hooks and some of that like picture framing wire stuff and some bolts. And so I'm probably going to have to drill some holes in it and figure out how to actually hang it up. So it's not just sitting on a seat next to me. But how cool that this arrived on my 100th episode. And man, what a journey it's been these last 100 days. And man, I where do I even begin? I just had decided, to start doing this podcast, and I don't know if my mindset is right on this, but, I didn't have any sort of delusion that it was going to take off, that it was going to start getting millions or even thousands of views. And I knew that going in. I mean, there are just many podcasts now. I mean, millions and millions and millions of podcasts in the world. And I knew that I would just be throwing my podcast into an endless sea of nameless, faceless podcasts. Although I have a name and a face, it's right here on the sign and right there on the microphone. But I don't know. I had just gotten to this point in my life to where I was just tired of just not doing stuff to for whatever the reason is, just that ego in me that, is afraid of being seen or afraid of being wrong or afraid of failing or afraid of, being vulnerable and transparent. And I've lived with those fears almost my entire life. And those fears have just prevented me from living so much life. And, I just decided I just don't want to live like that anymore. So attached to potential bad outcomes that instead of actually moving forward and seeing what outcome actually happens, I just do nothing. And it doesn't do any good to live in regret, wishing that I had been different when I was younger or whatever. And I realized that. And I don't know, just something happened 100 days ago where I just went, want to know what? This is what's going on in my life. This is what I feel like talking about. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be as transparent and as open about what it looks like and feels like for me in my situation to have a dream and to be going for it as best as I can. With everything going for me and everything that's going against me. And I've got plenty going for me, and I've got plenty going against me. And I have to constantly navigate those two realities, the reality of where I am, the reality of the discrepancy between where I hope to be, what I'm hoping to accomplish, trying to navigate what role luck has to play in that, what role a theoretical God has to play in that, what role my own good decisions or bad decisions will play in that, how much of it actually is on my shoulders and how much of it actually is up to some sort of luck or happenstance. And I don't know. I don't know the answers to any of that. I have no clue. I have no clue how things really, really work. And, that's terrifying. It is terrifying to just be faced with the reality of like, man, I could do all of this work. I can go for it. All of the sacrifices I've made to be a comedian, to be a performer, to be an actor. And knowing that what I'm actually seeking, which is, I do have some pretty specific dreams that I'm pursuing that I want to experience that are not my reality today. And, and there's a chance that maybe it doesn't. And I have to consciously be aware that is a possibility and yet still move forward anyway. And still give it a shot and still keep trying to give it a shot. And here I am. I decided that I wanted to do this podcast. I was like, I want to do this daily. Why daily? Daily for me was really more of a pushback against my own weakness, because I have a bit of an ADHD type brain, and I'm really good at starting projects, and I'm really good at starting diets and starting exercise routines and starting certain commitments. I'm going to do this on social media every day, or I'm going to work out like this every single day, or I'm going to write every single day, or I'm going to, whatever it is. And where I have always lacked is sticking with anything productive day after day, month after month, year after year. And I told myself I want to do this podcast every single day for a minimum of a year, regardless of the outcome. Because trust me, if I was focused on outcome, I think my most downloaded quote unquote episode, I don't even know what that means, is like 200. Most of them get about 5 or 6 downloads, which is the MP3 side of it. On the YouTube side of it, 20 views, 60 views. I think 60, maybe 70 views is the most I've ever gotten on YouTube on one of the long forms. There was a while I was cutting up, cutting these podcasts up, and I was releasing 1-minute clips of them on social media. I've gotten out of the habit of doing that. You see, there you go. There you go again. That was another thing I was trying to do, was pop out 3 reels a day. However, that I was a little bit more interested in some sort of result. And the amount of work and effort it was taking for me to produce those 3 different reels daily and get them posted daily I knew I wasn't doing the right thing, which is the other challenge. Is there is an element of, yes, you want to put yourself out there, but you also want to be improving and taking feedback. And it's sometimes hard to know what the feedback really is, because the social media game is such it just seems so arbitrary. And I can't tell you how much advice I've gotten from all different sources in terms of, well, this is how you go viral on social media. You got to do this, you got to do this. And it's all these social media gurus. And, I've hired people and I've taken courses and I've consulted with people. And at the end of the day, it just seems like a crapshoot, to be honest. And so to me, it's a matter of finding, at least in that regard, a social media strategy that makes sense to me, but that also actually seems to be moving the needle in a positive direction. And again, for all of the work that I was doing to post those 3 reels, it really didn't move the needle that much in terms of engagement, in terms of followers. But I think I was also doing it all wrong, to be honest, because I was posting different types of videos, and everything that I have studied is like, you have to be your channel kind of has to be one thing, and my channel was all kinds of different things. And so I think it was a little confusing for the EEL algorithm or for my followers to figure out, well, what the heck is this channel about? Is this channel about podcasting, about dreams? Is this channel about stand-up comedy? Is this channel about comedic acting? Is this channel about a dude who dresses up like Lord Voldemort? So I've been all over the place. But I'm also experimenting and pivoting and trying to find my thing. But this podcast, I was like, this is a non-negotiable. I'm going to do this every day for a minimum of 365 days and put this out there just as I have been. I haven't missed a day. The worst that has happened is I've been a little late during the day. That happened a couple days ago, because my goal is always to release at 8 a.m. In my time zone, Mountain Time. And I've been pretty religious about that. There's been a couple of days where I got it posted later during the day, but I still posted. And I don't know. I don't know what any of it means. I don't know why I'm doing any of it, to be honest. I wish I did. I am just finding more and more that the answers that I'm seeking either are not available, or they aren't meant to be answered. They're meant to be discovered in real time for me personally. And anybody else who is telling me what to do or giving me advice, all they can really do is say, well, this is what I did and this is what happened. The assumption is, if I do the same thing, the same things will happen. And I think there is, I don't think that's untrue. But I think it seems to be, I think life is a little more personalized than that. Or just because this other person put a certain type of video every day for X amount of time and then had this result, that means if I do the exact same type of video for the exact same amount of time, I'm going to have the same result. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, but again, that's an answer that I don't know. So here I am. At the end of the day, I do know that I believe in going for dreams. I mean, I just keep coming back to that. I know what my dream is as a comedian. It's the capacity to have a draw, to have a significant draw, to where strangers know who I am and will buy tickets to see me do stand-up comedy, and to also have the capacity to act in major TV and film roles. My declared dream moving to Los Angeles was I wanted to book a recurring role on a sitcom for a minimum of $40,000 an episode. That is the words that came out of my mouth almost 10 years ago when I first sat down with my dream manager, Dan Rouse, who was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. And he said it's really important to declare your dream out loud, and that's what came out. And that dream is still in there. You know, obviously, I'm pursuing a lot of stand-up comedy, and I don't know which is the chicken, which is the egg. Is the stand-up comedy going to lead to this sitcom opportunity, or is the sitcom opportunity going to give me enough visibility to where I can perform stand-up? I don't know. But that's the dream. That's what I'm pursuing as best as I can, with at least with enough ego to actually think that I'm talented enough to make it, to do it, with also enough humility to go, yeah, I have no idea if I can do it or if it will happen, you know. I'm confident enough in my talent that if I already had the draw, I would entertain the hell out of any audience. And that if I booked the role, I would crush the role. But that actually is not... That's like the smallest part of this dream. The dream is, can you grind enough to get that opportunity? Can you get in the room? Can you even get in the room with the casting director who could make that decision to put you on the show and be so impressive in the room that the casting director just has to go, that's the guy. We got to cast that guy. And can you wade through the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of other actors and performers and talented people out there who want that, whose dream it also is to get that role? And, you know, as a stand-up comedian, can you be so undeniably unique and funny and talented that strangers know who you are and are willing to sacrifice their hard-earned money and their hard-earned dollars to go spend, you know, $30, $40, $50 on a ticket, get a babysitter, you know, pay for parking, you know, spend a bunch of money on drinks, invest, you know, time fighting traffic, you know, to get to downtown, you know, like all of this to see me perform. I mean, it's really humbling to even think that that would be possible for me. But that's my dream. My dream is that does happen for me. And for whatever reason, I feel compelled to go against everybody's advice. I say everybody, I mean like every like self-help guru that, you know, pops up on my TikTok, you know, that pretty much says, hey, if you have a dream, don't talk about it. Just put your head down and go work at it and go accomplish it, and then let everybody see the result. And I totally get that. I'm doing the complete opposite. I'm letting everybody know what I'm up to, and I'm talking about it every single day for whatever reason, and in hopes that anybody else out there who has a dream and is in the day-by-day might get either a little inspiration, or at least feel like whatever they're experiencing is maybe heard and seen through me because of what I'm experiencing. So 100 episodes in, at least 265 to go. What I told myself is on the 365th day, I would then look at where I'm at and determine if I still want to keep going daily, if I maybe want to cut it back to a couple times a week or maybe monthly, or who knows, maybe at that point I'll be like, oh no, I'm doing this daily for the indefinite future. But for now, we're 100 episodes in. All of you beautiful, lovely dreamers, thank you to everybody who has chimed in and had a listen. I hope that your dreams are going well, that you are navigating all of the ups and downs and all of the frustrations and all of the wins and all of the, just all of the things that go into having a dream and going for something big in life. And you have my love, you have my support, you have my encouragement, and I am really excited for us to go accomplish our dreams together. So thank you so much. 100 episodes of the Paul Green Comedy Podcast, March 8th, 2024, with my brand new illuminated logo right here. Paul Green Comedy Podcast. I love you all so much, and I will check in with you tomorrow for episode 101.